How about the assignments? How about homework? Does she be? Does she la? Homework na imbe. Did you do the homework that I gave you? Okay. Any homework? Homework. What was the homework?
The homework was
How many hours?
meditation.
How many hours your parents spent cooking for you? How many hours did you get in one day?
Cooking?
What is your total number? Okay, whatever homework you have written, just read to me. The homework teacher yorba. Oh, the chick lo nanda. Hello. Como de lengue tanda chuchu chi juri shaba pyo nga tanda zinda ji so de yu. La so. Okay, are you ready to read your homework to me? Okay, go ahead. Just share with the class. So, what did you have there?
Cook Mambuchitu.
Okay, you can speak in English. It's okay.
They work a lot and they cook a lot. They do a lot for us. My parents do a lot for us. They cook a lot. They go to work and do like laundry and all that stuff.
So total in one day, how many hours? You have the number?
What? No.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay. Let's hear from another one. So anybody?
Me.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear your homework.
Every day they usually spend about 5 hours doing everything ready for us.
Okay, 5 hours. So 5 hours times 30 days in 1 month. How many hours?
150 hours.
Ooh, 150 hours. So that multiplied by 12 months.
174.
You just said it's 150
No,
hours in.
1074.
So times your age, if you are 8 years old, then times 8 years. So what do you get?
13,000 something.
So that divided by 360. If you divide that
4,000 something.
Divide by 360, do you get 4,000 something?
Yeah, dividing.
I think maybe it's four something, not 4,000. So that shows that your parents has served you, spent 4 years if you total that number of hours. So 4 years they have spent looking after you. Can you imagine 4 years? Thank you. Who else? Any volunteers? We have here. Kandulamo, how about you? Okay. Go ahead, Kandulamo. Share with us, share with the class your homework.
I forgot to do it.
Okay, okay. You forgot to do it. So anybody who did the homework?
Me?
Okay.
I
go
didn't
ahead.
I didn't actually do the math, but I estimated. I
Okay.
think they care for me around 20 hours a day.
20 hours a day?
Yes.
Oh, how
They're
come?
really good parents. They're good parents.
20 hours. That's
No, not 20 hours. Like
they need to sleep, isn't it?
most of the time, because my dad goes to work at 5. So from 5 to he goes to 5 and then he comes back at 3. So 5 to 3, 12. It comes like, so it's somewhere near about actually 14, 15 hours then.
Wow. You are going to get such a huge number if you multiply that by your age. So anyway, thank you. Who else? Any volunteers? Hey, we are in America. You have to really speak up. That's what you do in school, don't you? Okay. So that's fine. So now I think we will start today's class. So are you ready? Okay, let me share my screen. So today we are going to talk about something completely different. Let me get this full mode. So just now, before the class, you listened to some chanting, didn't you? Did you hear the chanting?
Yes.
Yeah. So that is in Sanskrit. It is, the chant is about, not really about, it's the refuge chanting. In Tibetan, we call it Jamdo. Jamdo. Have you heard about Jamdo?
Yes.
Heard Jamdo before? Anybody other than Kama?
Yes.
Who? Okay. So anyway, so today we are going to touch on something, something different. So this is going to be a bit tough compared to earlier topics. So this is really diving into the actual Buddhism. So you may find it a bit difficult because difficult to understand because most of you are quite young. And also I don't know how to present to you, how to explain to you in a way that you can understand. So I will try to keep it to rudimentary level as basic and as simple as possible. So this is about refuge, taking refuge. So refuge, or Gyamdo in Tibetan, is like one of the main, what do you call, essentials of Buddhism. So if you want to be considered Buddhist, if you think that you are a Buddhist, then this is the one that determines whether you are a Buddhist or not. So it is very important. If you don't know about the three jewels, if you don't know about refuge, then yeah, you may not be real Buddhist. Yes, you are born into a Buddhist family, so you can say that I am born Buddhist, but whether that can qualify as a real Buddhist or not is another question. So hopefully, after we finish today's class, hopefully you will have some basic understanding of what refuge is about, what Gyamdo is about. Why is it so important in Buddhism? Have you heard this prayer? Have you chanted this prayer? So Tibetan children or kids in India, I think most of them would know this. If not, at least they would have heard it, because there's such a common prayer that Tibetans recite. So I don't know in America, but you have those Sundays classes, so I don't know whether you recite this or not. So this is a refuge prayer. Maybe you have heard your parents recite this. So can somebody read to me? Okay.
Lama like Gibson Cho, Sangha like Gibson Cho, Cho like Gibson Cho, Gidi like Gibson Cho.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. So you are familiar, are you?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And then how about this one? Oh, Sanje Chodan, Soji Chonam La, Changju Bado, Dani Gyabso Che, Tagi Jenzo Gibe, Sonam Ji, Dola Pinjere, Sanje Drupa Rinpoche. So everywhere, whenever we start a prayer session, we always begin with this one. So this is called Refuge and Bodhichitta. So today we are going to talk only about refuge. So what do you think refuge is?
Safe space.
Safe space? Who is that? Who said that?
Tewang.
Okay, safe space. Could you elaborate a bit more? What do you mean by that?
Like some place that is, or some place or something that is safe. A refuge camp is a place where refugees can go there to be safe.
Okay. Some place. So in your understanding is some safe, some place there where it is safe for you. So that can be a definition, that can be a meaning. And someone else? If not, okay, let's listen to this.
When we are uncomfortable or anything unpleasant happens, we look to take refuge in something. Usually we turn to food, alcohol, sex, drugs, money, power, or relationships. But none of these things gives us the lasting protection or satisfaction we're looking for. When you understand you can't find lasting happiness in samsara, then the desire to find true refuge becomes strong. In Buddhism, we take refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The Buddha is like the doctor who understands your disease and knows how to treat it. The Dharma, his teachings, is the medicine he prescribes, and the Sangha is the spiritual community that helps you to take the medicine. To take refuge is to finally seek protection from suffering in a way that can really help you. When we think about the ultimate nature of reality and what causes us to suffer, this is the true meaning of refuge.
So what did he say? Who was that? Do you know this person?
Keanu Reeves.
Actor.
Yes.
Actor.
Yeah. So you see, we have come to this state now that we are listening or learning from a foreigner. If I were to bring what do you call, real practitioner, a Lama, first of all, yeah, the Lama will teach in Tibetan, and you may not understand. And then, of course, young people, they like celebrities. So I thought that maybe, you will be more interested in listening to a celebrity rather than a Tibetan Lama. So anyway, what was the point he was making? What do you get from this? Share your understanding from that clip.
Materialistic development is not everlasting and is not a good source of like happiness.
So refuge is mainly seeking protection. As we covered in our first class, our fundamental aspiration is to be happy and to be free from suffering, to avoid suffering. So we do all kinds of things. We take in refuge in all kinds of things so that we can avoid pain and suffering. Many people take refuge in money because they believe that money is the one that can guarantee happiness, that can protect us from undergoing suffering. And then some people rely on power. They chase after power, thinking that power can be a source of refuge. If I land into any trouble, if I have certain power, I will be protected. I will be safe from any danger. And then people also seek refuge in drugs, in alcohols, just to get rid of their pain and suffering. They indulge in alcohols and drugs. So we are very familiar, especially we are refugees. So here the refuge generally means taking what you call protection from something, seeking protection. We rely on somebody, we seek help from somebody so that we will be saved from undergoing suffering. So all the things that I mentioned before, like money, power, drug, alcohol, yes, they can protect us for a short time, but that's not really what you call lasting, that cannot guarantee lasting freedom from suffering. They are not really reliable. So if we want to be protected from suffering, we need to take refuge in something or someone that can really guarantee us that refuge. Let's say if you have difficulty doing your, let's say, homework, you cannot seek help from anybody. You need to seek a help from somebody who has the knowledge to help you with the that particular homework. Otherwise, if you come to me to help you with your homework, I won't be able to help you because I wouldn't know. So I don't have that ability. So that's why when we seek refuge, we need to find we need to seek a refuge in someone whom refuge in a person or something that has the potential, that has the power to really fulfill what we seek for. So here we are talking about the three objects that here, the object of refuge, there are three of them, as Keanu mentioned, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So in Tibetan, we call it Sanje Kuncho, Chu Kuncho, Gindun Kuncho. So that's why we call it, some in English translation, they call triple gems or three jewels. Kuncho means the best of the rarest. Kun means rare. Chok means best. Something which is very rare, but not only it's rare, but it's the best of the rare. So these three are the best, the rarest, so we can rely. So there are different levels of refuge. So this one, you just listen, you may not understand, but it's okay. So this is just what you call just a laying the groundwork. And later, if we touch that again, you may understand better. So just for the purpose of, getting some imprints, let's just listen to this.
So as in the conventional expression, we say that if there is a threat, seek a refuge somewhere. So similarly, in the context of spiritual practice, to protect oneself from the threat of unfortunate or unfavorable rebirth, one needs to seek refuge in the three jewels. So when we speak about taking refuge in the context of Buddhism, we must understand that actually there are different levels of refuge and different types of refuge. For example, the highest form of refuge would be that of a Mahayana practitioner, where the refuge that you are seeking from is the threat of being caught in the extremes of samsaric existence on the one hand and isolated nirvana, solitary nirvana on the other. So to be protected from these two extremes of samsaric existence and peace, you seek the attainment of Buddhahood, that is the embodiment of Dharmakaya, the Buddha body of reality, and Rupakaya, the Buddha body of perfect form. And not only that, but also you seek such an enlightened state for the benefit of all sentient beings. And this kind of going for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is that of the Mahayana practitioner. And also the refuge that you are seeking from is much more comprehensive. So then we can also recognize a second level of going for refuge, where the protection that is being sought from, the refuge that is being sought from, is the suffering of conditioning, pervasive conditioning, and also the suffering of being caught in cyclic existence, and also your fear of the destructive power of all the negative emotions and thoughts. And in order to seek refuge from that, you go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and which embodies the total transcendence of cyclic existence and the sufferings, particularly the suffering of conditioning. And then there is also, again, a third level of, third kind of taking refuge, where the spiritual aspirant is seeking refuge only from a sort of an immediate threat, which is the threat of being reborn in the lower realms of existence and having a tremendous sense of fear for that possibility, and then seeking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha to provide protection from that. And here, so when we talk about this kind of refuge, the threat that we are seeking refuge from is the possibility of suffering in the lower realms of existence. So when we think about lower realms of existence, we should not think of a place so far away in the distant future. This is not really the case, because what divides us from the present moment and such a possibility of next life in the lower realms of existence is simply the continuity of this breath that we all inhale and exhale. The moment that ceases, the next life is right there in front of you.
So did you make any sense of this? So anyway, so refuge, what refuge really means is that we are seeking protection from something. So we are going for refuge to these three jewels so that we will be protected from various suffering. So at the moment, just now His Holiness explained about various refuge depending on various degree of suffering. So the lowest or the least threat is the sufferings, to be born threat or the risk of being born in what is called lower realms. So like I think you know about hell beings, and then there's something called hungry ghosts, and then animal realm. So if you don't really buy into this hell or hungry ghost, it's okay. But you can imagine if you are to be born as animal, how much suffering you would endure. I think if you watch those National Geography channel, where animals are always attacked by another one, there's always predator looming somewhere. And when they prey, for instance, when they attack a buffalo or a deer or antelope, how they attack, I think you have seen those clips. They just eat alive. That preyed upon animal is not dead yet. But while one, let's say lioness, is gripping the throat of that animal, the others are already eating. So imagine if you were to be born in that kind of realm, where such sufferings are inevitable. So that's why we have to make sure that we don't fall into that kind of life or rebirth, so that we don't experience such suffering. So for that purpose, we seek refuge in three jewels. So that's the main, what do you call, meaning. And after realizing that these three objects, the three jewels, are the ones that we should go for refuge, then we should place our trust in the three jewels. Of course, in order to do that, first we need to have some understanding of what three jewels and how they protect us. Of course, that would be topic for another class. But the main thing is, once you have some understanding, then we need to entrust. We need to place our trust in the three jewels. So with that, you were able to, through that, let me rephrase, through that, once we are able to entrust our well-being in the three jewels, it is said that we have generated refuge. So when we generated or developed, or when we have this refuge, then it is like getting the ticket to become a Buddhist. So it's like getting a ticket to attend a concert. So without the ticket, you cannot enter that concert place. So once you have the ticket, you can enter and you become a kind of part of that concert. So likewise, when you have the refuge, then you become Buddhist, and then you have now entered the Buddhist path. So that's why it's called the gateway to Buddhism. So in order to develop refuge, we need to develop some sense of fear of suffering. So if you have no fear, the thought to seek refuge will never occur. So let's say if you have no problem at school, so you don't need to seek somebody's help. Only when you get into trouble, then you need to look for somebody for help. So same way. So right now, here is like, as mentioned before, so we need to realize that at the moment, I have this human body, but I may die. If I die, then I don't know where I will be born. I may end up like those homeless people in Minnesota, especially during winter time. If you are born as homeless, imagine how much suffering you would experience, because it's so cold outside. So there's no guarantee that we may not be born as, one of the homeless people in Minnesota. So with that kind of fear, then we also need to have this confidence, that faith, and that, that trust, that three jewels have the ability to protect oneself from whatever suffering. So of course, here when we say three jewels will protect us, it is not something like they will just lift us from our suffering and then, put it somewhere else. It's not. The way three jewels can help us is through showing the path, guiding us what to do and what not to do. And then if we follow, then we will get there. Let's say if you are stuck in some place and you don't know how to go back, get back to your house or place. And if you seek somebody's advice, if the person tells you that, okay, from here, you exit that door number 4, from there, you walk ahead, maybe 5 minutes, from there you will see this, from there you turn right, and then there you will arrive at this place. So that's what Buddha does. Buddha shows up, is like the guide. And then we have to walk. Like just now with the example, that the guy has already guided you. But if you do not start to proceed, start to walk, if you just remain there, then of course you will never get back to your place. So anyway, that will be another topic. So the most important thing is, first of all, we need to have this kind of a sense of threat, sense of fear from future sufferings. And then, you look for somebody to save you from that inevitable or that future suffering. And then you realize that, oh, the 3 jewels are the ones that I should seek refuge in. And then you develop this confidence that, if I entrust them, if I fully put my trust in them, place my trust in them, then I will be okay. I will be safe from all these dangers. So these 2 are very important. So that's why these are called the 2 causes of refuge. So without these 2, no refuge will arise. Oops. So now what is the big deal about this? Why do we need to have refuge? Why do we need to go for refuge in 3 jewels? I think you have seen your parents when they are having difficulty, they go to the prayer room and then pray. So what they are doing is actually they are going for refuge. They are taking refuge in the 3 jewels. So there are many benefits, but I think I will not bore you with all that list of benefits. But I will tell you a story. So you see in the picture, there was once an old couple. And normally they, get along well. They lived happily. They're married for many years. So they are living happily. But what happened was, somewhere, let me rephrase. Outside their house, there is a bridge. And under the bridge, it is said that there are those ghosts. I think you like to listen to ghost stories. So there are ghosts. So they wanted to harm them. But they must walk on the bridge. Otherwise, they cannot harm them. So what they did was they caused a dispute and then made them quarrel. So out of the blue, they started to argue, and that developed into a real quarrel. And then the wife kind of kicked the old man out and said, you better get out of my house or something. So the old man has to walk on that bridge. So this is the bridge. It looks scary. And he has to walk alone. It is already dark. So he knows that this place is haunted. But he has no choice but to cross this bridge. So he started to recite Tara praise, Duma, we call it Duma. He somehow knows that if he put faith, if he take refuge in Tara, he knows that he can be protected. But he doesn't know all that prayer well. But still, he entrusts his well-being in Tara, and then started chanting that the praises of Tara. Praises of Tara is quite long. And if you don't know by heart well, you will be going round and round. You will never finish it. But because he has strong faith, he just started to recite. And then he was able to cross the bridge. So when I think I missed one part. So there are these ghosts. So one ghost went to cause that quarrel, and then he later joined the other one who is waiting at the other side of the bridge. So I said that, did you manage to catch the old man? That the other ghost said, no, nobody passed this bridge. Only what you call crippled end crossed the bridge. So because the Tara praise, he cannot recite properly. So that somehow turned in kind of the ghost saw it as a crippled end. So this is one story whereby if you take refuge in Tara, so Tara is also Buddha, yeah? So if you take refuge in Buddha, you can be protected from these, these spirit harms, as illustrated by this story. So next time round, let's say next time, when you are afraid of anything, especially if you are afraid during the night time, then either you can recite Tara praise, or you can say Lama Lai Jiao Su Chou, Sanje Lai Jiao Su Chou, Cho Lai Jiao Su Chou, Gindun Lai Jiao Su Chou. If you recite that prayer with faith and trust, then you will be okay. You will be protected. And also there's another story. This is about my father. So my father was a farmer. He was a carpenter as well as farmer. So that was, I think, when I was maybe 13 years old or 14 years old, this happened. So my father was asked by somebody, our relative, to come to plow the field. So he went to plow, and then evening he came back. And when he was walking up the hill to our house, I normally go to meet him. So he said, oh, I'm starting to have some pain here. And then next morning, he was bedridden. He couldn't get up from his bed. And I remember walking, I think, an hour to this Pujari or the monk who does checking. So I was sent to request to do a checking, and then this monk did checking, and he said that, did he do any plowing work? I said, yes, he went to do plow. He said that because while plowing, he has destroyed the palace of Naga. So there is something being called Naga. So because of that, they cause harm. So my father was sick for a long time. In the meantime, when he was sick, we made offering to the near monastery every now and then. We offer like 200 rupees, 300 rupees, and request for monks to recite prayers. And then eventually, we have to invite a medium to trance. So the medium tranced, and then this Naga also came in that medium. And then through the medium, so he said that you destroyed my palace, you and 2 oxen. So he said that I have already killed one of the cows. And every time I crush you under a big rock, and these monks come and pull you out of that. So that's what the Naga in that medium said. So what it was saying is that because my father has been making offerings to the nearby monastery for the monks to pray, somehow the Naga wasn't able to keep my father under that huge rock. So this is another story to illustrate that if you take refuge in Sangha, in monks, Sangha community, monks community, you can see the result. They can help you. They can protect you. So this is a real story that happened to my father, which I witnessed as well. So these are some of the benefits, and I think people have other stories. So that's why it is a big deal. So if you really want to be protected from all these threats, then the only protector is taking refuge in 3 jewels. So now, what are the 3 jewels? In order to take refuge, we need to have at least some idea of the 3 jewels. So the 3 jewels are Buddha. In Tibetan, we call it Kunjo Sum. So there are 3. So Buddha, Sanje Kunjo, Dharma, Chö Kunjo, Sangha, Kindyun Kunjo. So what is Buddha jewel? So Buddha is like the Buddha jewel is like the doctor. So when we are unwell, when we are sick, we will go to see a doctor. Then doctor will do the necessary test. They will do the checking, and then finally or eventually the doctor will diagnose. The doctor will tell us that, oh, you have this sickness. And then doctor will also may be able to tell you that, or it was caused by this and that. So in order to cure from that ailment, that sickness, you need to take these medicines. you need to do this. Or sometimes you may say you may need to go for surgery. You may need to be admitted to hospital. So that's what doctors tell us when we are sick. So likewise, Buddha tells us why we are suffering. We are actually undergoing this chronic sickness. That's why for many lives we have been suffering. So Buddha, like the doctor diagnosed, Buddha diagnosed our sickness. The suffering that we are experiencing is because of this and this and this. So if you want to be free from that sickness or that suffering, then you need to do this, do that. So basically, Buddha said you need to meditate. You need to practice. Remember, we talked about the two prongs. So that's what Buddha said. You need to apply these two-prong approaches. You need to reduce, if not completely eradicate, those afflictive emotions, the destructive emotions such as anger, jealousy, hatred, greed. And then on the other hand, you need to enhance or develop those positive mindsets such as love, compassion, contentment, and so on. So that's why Buddha Jewel is like a doctor. So as the doctor, not anybody can be a doctor. In order to be a doctor, you need to have certain qualifications. First of all, you need to have completed the medical, the studies. And then then you also need to have some experience if that doctor is a good one. The more experience, the better. And if you have done so many of these, degrees, and you have mastered in many of the areas, then of course, even better. So likewise, Buddha, in order for Buddha to be able to diagnose us, Buddha also needs some qualifications. So what are Buddha's qualifications? Why Buddha is worthy of worthy of going for refuge? So Buddha is the one who has absolutely no fault. Buddha is what is called immaculate. Buddha is not capable of making any faults because Buddha has eliminated all the obscurations and possesses all the good qualities. Buddha has perfected everything. Buddha knows how we think. Buddha is very skillful. That's why Buddha is omniscient. So if you rely on somebody who is faultless, who has all the knowledge, then of course, whatever Buddha diagnosed has to be true, has to be accurate. So not only Buddha is perfect in every ways and all that, but also there are other reasons why Buddha is worthy to be refuge, object of refuge. So first, Buddha has attained the fearless state of complete self-control. That means Buddha has purified everything. So let's say if you are drowning in the river, in order to help you get out of the river, you need to ask somebody who is not drowning together with you. You cannot ask somebody to help you to a person who is similar to your situation. You need to somebody who can swim, who has the ability, who is out of the river. So likewise, Buddha, he is free from all the sufferings. He is not in that ocean of samsara. So that's one reason. Another reason is Buddha is skilled in the means to free others from danger. Even if you have the ability, but if you don't know how to help, let's say you are drowning and then there was somebody, who is outside the river. But if that person is, let's say, crippled, if that person has no arm or anything, no arm, no leg, then he cannot help, even though he really wants to help you. So likewise, when we seek refuge, we need to seek refuge to a person, to something who is free from that suffering, as well as one who possesses all the skillful means. So Buddha has that quality. And then the Buddha has great compassion. If the Buddha has no compassion, then he may not be that interested in helping us, because it's like, what's in for me? That's all ordinary people ask. We always think of what's in for me. But because Buddha has perfected compassion, Buddha treats others more precious than himself. So that's why it is worthy to take refuge. I mean, it is, Buddha is worthy as an object of refuge, because Buddha will definitely help. Even if somebody has compassion, but if that person is biased and very selective, then we wonder, whether taking refuge in Buddha will result in receiving help or not. Because for ordinary people, we tend to help those who help us and tend to ignore those who did not. But Buddha is not like that. No matter whether you help Buddha or not, whatever it is, Buddha is always willing to help us. Buddha's hand is always extended, stretched toward us. It's just that we lack holding on to it. So that's why Buddha is perfect as a refuge, object of refuge. And then Dharma, what is Dharma? So Buddha jewel is the enlightened state, is the, what do you call, as mentioned before, is that there's no obscuration, is an enlightened state, is Buddha, of course, is a Buddha. So Dharma, when it comes to Dharma jewel is the realizations. Anyway, we will come to that later. First, let me give the analogy. So Dharma jewel is like the medicine. Remember, the Buddha is like the doctor. So doctor can only prescribe. Doctor can diagnose and prescribe medicine. But the actual thing that is really curing our illness is the medicine. So even if you have such a great doctor, and if he has prescribed you the best medicine, but if we don't take the pills, then we will never be cured of our illness. So that's why Dharma is the actual refuge that can really free us from suffering. So here I have the image of these texts, but Dharma jewel is not these texts. Dharma jewel is actual realizations of those practitioners. So it is like the, let's say, the knowledge of the nurse, or yeah, I think at the moment we'll stick to the nurse, because that will come in the later analogy. So it is like the person's knowledge. So in order to become a nurse, you need to study for many years, maybe 4 years, and then you get a degree. So during those time, you have gained so much knowledge, and then you are qualified as a nurse. So that knowledge is like the Dharma jewel. Of course, here there's a various level of realizations and the resulting cessation. So I think it is a bit tough for you. So there is something called Arya level. So when you are able to see emptiness directly, then you become Arya being. But of course, it is too much for you. It's okay. You just stick to that, the knowledge of the nurse. And then finally, Sangha jewel. So Sangha jewel is like the nurse. So now that for our illness, the doctor has diagnosed and prescribed. So we have the pills now, but we need nurse to help us. So let's say if you are admitted in a hospital, so you need the nurse to help you take your pill and give you encouragement. So every day they will come and help you get up, and then check your vitals. Then they will help you give the injection on time, help you with your appetite, all this. So Sangha jewel is like the nurse. So Sangha jewel here you see are the monks. But monks are not the real Sangha jewel. Sangha jewels are those beings who has the knowledge. So like the Arya beings, there when you have achieved a certain level of knowledge, then you become Sangha. So it's like the nurse. So you become a nurse because you have acquired that knowledge. You have that degree. So when you possess the degree, when you acquire the degree and the knowledge to become a nurse, then of course you become a nurse. So likewise, in order to become a Sangha, actual Sangha jewel, you need to practice, and then you need to arrive at certain degree of or level of realization or certain stage. Only then you are considered Sangha jewel. But because we take refuge in the Sangha, we have to view all monks as a Sangha jewel and pay our respects. Always be respectful to them. So that's why monks, you see your parents respect those who wear these robes. So that's all because of this three jewel thing. So Sangha jewel, the meaning of Sangha jewel is individuals who have attained the Arya stage. So there is a stage when you engage in meditation, so you started to progress, and then there will come a time where you will be able to perceive emptiness directly. So that's also, yeah, I'm just throwing here. Never mind, if you don't understand, it's okay. Later you will understand. So these are the three jewels. So now that you have rough idea of what three jewels are, so every morning when you wake up or before going to bed, it is good practice to recite Lama la kyabsu chawo, Sanje la kyabsu chawo, Cho la kyabsu chawo, Gendun la kyabsu chawo. 3 times. 3 in the morning, 3 in the night or evening. Can you do that? Look at this. I like this image. Look at her. So devoted, so much faith. That's how we should have. You see, really have this faith and trust. That's why she is receiving all that light from Buddha. You see, Lama la kyabsu chawo, Sanje la kyabsu chawo, Cho la kyabsu chawo, Gendun la kyabsu chawo. Then you should visualize this way. Rays of light coming from Buddha, emitting from Buddha. Okay? Yeah, so that's about it for today.
Rinpoche,
Yes.
dear Karen, not happiness or Karen, Nyajin, Ajane, happiness or Ajaji room nalo de Karen, the tap genius or one day a guide to the Buddhist, a guide, the list
Guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life. Till Chunjuk sa Chunjuk, Pyoge Tolaya Chunjuk. Chunju se de Chanju Samba se Jora Bodhisattvas and Chanju Samba se Yorwa. Chanju Samba se na Mishambalia Robache, Samujanga, Tandegi, Tendegi Nyamlinchini Yorwa, or Tenzulia Bodhisattvas. Or Di Korgitebre. Oh yeah, that the ring is so that concludes our class for today. And your homework is continue with your meditation. Remember, have you been doing meditation or not?
Yes.
Yeah, good. You should continue doing your meditation. On top of that,
Yes.
also don't forget to do the Manjushri, that recitation Om Arapatsanadi. Okay? Then we will meet next Wednesday.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Rinpoche.
Okay,
Bye,
bye.
Java.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.